So we're trained to recognize that. But what I did over about 5 years was I sent out symptom checklists for patients with POTS, EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, mast cell activation, fibromyalgia, and interestingly, PTSD. There's some autonomic signs there. And in these hundreds of symptoms, I tucked in 38 symptoms of anticholinergic poisoning. And the vast majority of patients showed the majority of symptoms. They would come and go to some degree, but you could clearly see there was a tendency for constipation, gastroparesis, gallbladder problems, poor digestion, malabsorption, fast heart rate, flushing, dry eyes, large pupils, brain fog, and cognition problems. And that showed the picture. And then testing the receptors of the vagus nerve with nicotine told me this was an acetylcholine problem. And the Parasym Plus that first came out almost 10 years ago, again, just puts everything together, not only to increase acetylcholine, but to retain it there at the nerve site, to cross the blood-brain barrier to boost cognition for those so declining. And it also, importantly, it covers any genetic disorder in the acetylcholine pathway. When I was first researching this, I thought, okay, this is a genetic problem. I'm affected. My kids are affected. What are the chances genes are not involved? I thought, is it a problem with acetylcholine? I thought, well, I don't want people to have to know their genes to know whether or not this will help. Let me just examine all of this and put something in the supplement that'll cover for that. And did. And then the amounts of the ingredients were important. 2 of the ingredients would work against each other if they weren't balanced out. Then one of the ingredients, very importantly, can actually start to shut down the acetylcholine receptors. It adapts, if you will. And we couldn't afford for that to happen. You'd need more and more. So it was years of work, but I'm delighted with the outcome. And even in patients with severe gastroparesis, they're on feeding tubes. We've had patients with half their intestines removed. We'll just put it right into the feeding tube. Works great. Yeah. So get that nerve working again. It's not your fault that it's not working. It's likely an inflammatory state. But we don't have to get the inflammation to 0 in order to work around that. Like, I'll always be an inflammatory patient. I'm not a sick person, though. So there's differences. I'm not sensitive anymore either, which is really important. But I was for so long. Oh, my goodness. But keep that nerve working, get it working, keep it working. You'll continue to feel better at some point.